On July 27, 1981, six-year-old Adam Walsh went with his mother to the Sears shopping center in Hollywood, Florida. When his mother went to the lighting section to browse, she allowed her young son to stay in the toy section, just a few aisles away. This would be the decision she would regret most in her life, as it was the last time she saw her son alive. 2 weeks later, more than 100 miles away, Adam Walsh's severed head was found in a canal near Vero Beach, Florida. His case became a cold case with no progress for years, but in 1983, police began focusing on the serial killer Otis Toole. At the age of 36, Toole confessed to killing Adam Walsh, but later recanted his statement. Many years passed, and experts remained doubtful about the extent of Toole's involvement. Adam's case lingered unsolved for 2 decades. However, in 2008, the case was officially closed with the conclusion that Otis Toole was the one who killed Adam Walsh. This tragedy inspired Adam's father, John Walsh, to launch one of America's most successful crime television shows, America's Most Wanted. The show has directly or indirectly helped law enforcement solve hundreds of cases. Today we will learn about the case of Adam Walsh. Hello everyone, this is Detective Mayo Nguyen's channel, and I'm Mayo Gia. If you enjoy this show, don't forget to hit the like button. Now, let's begin the story. On the afternoon of July 27, 1981, Reeve Walsh took her 6-year-old son, Adam, for a walk through the shopping center in Hollywood, Florida. As they passed the Sears store, Adam noticed a group of older kids playing video games in the toy section. Reeve needed to go to the lighting section, which was just a few aisles away. She thought she would only be gone for about 10 minutes, so she agreed to let Adam stay. Unfortunately, not long after, a security guard came and asked the group of teenagers to leave for causing a disturbance. Adam Walsh, a shy boy, followed the older kids outside the store without daring to tell them his mother was still inside. And so, Adam went missing. Just a few minutes later, when Reeve returned to pick up her son, Adam had vanished without a trace. She immediately alerted security, shouting her son's name and frantically searching, but to no avail. Adam Walsh had disappeared. Reeve, along with her husband John, contacted local police, and authorities immediately began searching for the missing boy. But every effort proved fruitless. It was as if Adam had vanished into thin air. However, on August 10, 1981, 2 fishermen discovered Adam's head in a canal near Vero Beach, more than 130 miles from Hollywood, though his body was never found. For many years, Adam's case remained without any developments. The turning point came in 1983 when a criminal named Otis Toole confessed to murdering the 6-year-old boy. Otis Toole, along with his accomplice Henry Lee Lucas, were 2 of the most notorious serial killers in the U.S. They were believed to have kidnapped and murdered hundreds of victims in the 1970s. According to Lucas, the number of victims could have been as high as 600. However, investigators later found that the confessions of Toole and Lucas were unreliable. In fact, it appeared they may have confessed to many murders they didn't actually commit, earning them the title of false confessors. Though the 2 were eventually separated, by around 1983, they were both incarcerated in prisons in Texas and Florida. At that time, police were investigating Lucas, and when he led them to murder sites, Toole also began to confess. Toole claimed they had killed a total of 108 people, far fewer than the 600 Lucas had estimated, but their crimes were still horrific. Nevertheless, Toole admitted to kidnapping Adam Walsh from the Sears store in Hollywood, Florida, and, along with Lucas, raping and dismembering the boy. However, when the police found there was no evidence, Lucas changed his statement. Toole later said that he acted alone, using toys and candy to lure Adam Walsh, then knocking the boy unconscious when he cried, raping him, decapitating him with a knife, and driving around with the head for several days because he had forgotten about it. When he remembered, he dumped it into a canal. But the key evidence related to Toole was highly controversial. After the killer was arrested, investigators used luminol to test his car, a chemical that reveals traces of blood. They found what many believed to be the outlines of Adam Walsh's face. John Walsh believed this, but other experts were skeptical. A journalist even questioned whether the traces were really from Adam, or just marks from something else. This was not the only point of controversy in the investigation. The police were unable to provide concrete evidence. After Adam's murder, John Walsh expressed his frustration with how the Hollywood police handled his son's case. In 1997, he published a book titled Tears of Rage, in which he wrote that the investigation revealed 3 of the 7 deadly sins: laziness, arrogance, and complacency. Walsh wrote that it was a small police department with limited resources that had never conducted a search on such a scale. He also mentioned that his family had a feeling that mistakes were made and everything seemed chaotic. One of the mistakes was losing the carpet in Toole's car, which was never recovered. For many years, John Walsh continued to host his show and advocated for reopening his son's case, as Toole had retracted his confession and there was no physical evidence linking him to the murder. Otis Toole died in prison in 1996 at the age of 49, but John Walsh still believed he was the killer. The police once theorized that serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer, who was living in Florida at the time, could have been the culprit. Thanks to the efforts of the Walsh family, the case was reopened in 2006. By 2008, the Hollywood Police Department concluded that the evidence against Toole was strong enough and officially declared him to be the murderer of Adam Walsh. After 25 years, John and Reeve Walsh finally knew who had killed their son. In 1984, John Walsh helped establish the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, an organization dedicated to combating child abuse and human trafficking. That same year, the U.S. Congress passed the Missing Children's Assistance Act. Over the years, this organization has helped law enforcement search for 350,000 missing children. In 1988, John Walsh began hosting America's Most Wanted, which helped capture hundreds of fugitives during its broadcast. On the 25th anniversary of Adam's disappearance, on July 27, 2006, President George W. Bush signed the Adam Walsh Child Protection and Safety Act, establishing a national sex offender registry and enforcing stricter penalties for crimes involving children. Although Adam Walsh could not change his fate, he left a lasting legacy in the hearts of many. Though he could not be saved, the actions of his family after his death ensured that countless other children would not suffer the same tragic fate. This concludes today's program. Please share your thoughts below, and we'll meet again in the next episode.